That's it. We are live. Today is Tuesday, the 8th of May, 2018. And on the panel today, we have Kosta, who is comes from Cyprus, who lives in the UK. We've got Astral, who's an Englishman who lives in Denmark. We've got Patricia, UK. And guests are Adam and Josh from Iron Realm Media. So hi, guys.
Good evening, everybody.
Well, hello, everybody.
Hello.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Good evening.
We had our first quiz last night.
How'd that go? Who won?
It was Patricia's really. She was the one that stole it last night. She had some funny jokes.
I thought actually it was a very successful quiz night. So I take my hat off to you, Patricia. I do. It was very well good. It was, well received.
Can I just say it was a joint effort?
I bet it did. I bet just holding the quiz show was a giant effort.
Yeah, it was actually really hard because I think the idea was that we would start off with a flat earth quiz. When you add everything up, you can't really go anywhere. It's not like we can turn around and say to everybody, how far away is the sun? If we had a globe quiz, it'd be easy, wouldn't it? But how could we? So it's a bit like we realised that we really couldn't go to many places. Not really.
Well, that's it. We were talking about it, weren't we? And saying that if you have some questions, I mean, all right, we could have a little bit of trivia, but then it's like, all right, well, that answer that you've given, that's like a science answer, So, I mean, is it true or is it just a scientism answer? And half the time it's incorrect, So we couldn't have that, could we? Then we'd have to have a if kind of quiz,
I've got a good idea. The next one's going to be called.
Sorry.
The next one's going to be called "Have a Guess." Sorry, Astral. I just came into my mind then. The next one, we'll have a guess. We'll ask the question: how far do you think the sun is away? Things like that. So we ended up.
That's saying it because if it's theory, well, then any answer is good enough, isn't it?
So anyway, we decided to do the complete opposite by being completely trivial. Although everything was factual, it was just ridiculous. Not all of it, but a lot of it, because that was the point.
So what did Patricia win then?
I don't know if everybody else does the same kind of thing, but we have a quiz here quite a lot, and then you usually win something. I don't know, a bit of money, a pot plant, something. We weren't doing it to win like that.
I think we need to create a prize, and we should call it maybe the Magnus Magnusson Award.
The Auguste Picard.
If anyone knows him. Yeah, good, well called, man. Good call.
Yeah, competition. Make like teams.
Yeah, we thought about that, but it was actually quite to do, wasn't it?
So
quite fun. It was good.
How did you work the buzz-ins?
Oh, we just said the question, gave them 10-15 minutes to answer it, repeated the question a few times. They put their answers in the chat room, which I put as the main picture on the Hangout, and then we just did it like that and answered each question.
Gotcha.
Because it was for fun.
Right.
It was bank holiday Monday here.
We could give them a prize. Sorry, Karen.
No, you go.
We could give them a prize of a ticket to the International Space Station or something.
Oh dear.
Create a star registry.
People say you haven't got a sense of humor, Patricia, but you have. I know you have. You weirdo.
Astral, it's only you that says that. Nobody else.
Really? No, I know you.
Oh, bless you, Astral. I love you.
Yeah, Okay, I love you too.
I love you
weirdo.
all, by the way.
It's usually because Patricia's quite quiet. That's what it is.
Yeah, she's not that quiet.
I am. I'm so quiet.
Yeah, it's only because you're asleep half the time or pretending to be.
At least I don't snore.
Really?
Anyway, I've just realised we're live, aren't we?
Yeah, I'll get around to Kosta in a minute because he showed me a picture today, so he can tell
Yeah.
us all about that. But Josh and Adam, what have you been doing lately? Did you go to the convention, the UK convention?
I did. Would have been a bit of a trek for Josh, I think.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry, I meant you, Adam. Sorry.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I went. Had a lot of fun. A hell of a lot of fun. Met a lot of great people. Shame I didn't see you there, mate. I don't know whether you thought about it, but it was a really, really good weekend. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Cool. That's good. So, what was, because Dave Marsh had something new to say, didn't he? How did his presentation go? Did you see him?
Yeah, so I met up with Dave earlier because we chatted on here a while back, me and Dave, and kind of said hello on here. So when we got there, we noticed each other and got a chatting, etc. And we're chatting quite well. He left with an Iron Realm Media T-shirt, did Dave?
He's lovely, Dave Marsh.
Yeah. He wouldn't tell me anything about his presentation beforehand, but we did have a good chat afterwards. And yeah, really, I won't do it justice trying to describe it, but it was talking about moon speeds and paths, etc., and showing. Wow, hard to fit any model to it, to be honest with you. It needs a bit more analysis as well and exact plotting, but it was a really good ball debunker.
I think that's because he every night as well has been taking stuff of the moon, not just taking pictures of it, but recording where he sees it, doing many compass readings, and yeah.
No, it was very thorough. You could see in the presentation with the spreadsheets, the data he gathered, and as he pointed out, the ungodly times he was doing it. Do you know what I mean? So. But,
yeah. He focuses on the Capricorn, doesn't he? Capricorn and Cancer. What do you call them? Oh my goodness, I can't even think what they're called now.
The tropics.
That's it. The tropics of.
Yeah, well, he was plotting it there, and then when it was tracking over the equator as well, they were his three measurement points. Yeah. So yes, his was cool. I don't know if you saw, I did a load of videos. They're on the FE convention website and obviously sat there from when I streamed them live with my iron stick. I was running around like a bit of a div.
Like a blue
saying hello.
fly.
Yeah. This is Adam being modest. He contrived a contraption of such ingeniousness. It was like a modified selfie stick that had a full-size microphone attached, his camera, his phone, so he could use the front-facing and the rear-facing cameras. He had 2 battery packs strapped to it. He had a windscreen and a pop filter for the microphone. He had two sets of headsets so that they could monitor us in the studio on Fridays, so that he could listen and have it for other guests that he was interviewing. And he just walked around the whole convention with this contraption, just interviewing people, talking to people, just getting little bits and bites and stuff. It was amazing. Adam did such an amazing job there.
Oh,
Cheers, pal.
Sounds fun. Sounds like it was well covered anyway.
well done, Adam.
Well, you go to the website, go to our own website, have a little look at them. It's excuse me. It really does give. I've watched a few back, and it does give you a good feel of the vibe there. and there was a great vibe. So yeah, it was there's none of me. I didn't do any filming of the actual presentations or anything. So it was just in between presentations and that, and late at night, and there was some more raucous stuff, weren't there, on the
Can I ask you, Adam, what was the highlight of it for you whilst you was there? I mean, all right, there must have been some sort of a day where you thought, wow, this is just awesome. What was the highlight of it for you?
I think a lot of well-versed flat earthers, I didn't really go there to learn anything. The things that I did learn were, like I say, with regards to Dave's work, that was really interesting. The same with Mike Kavanagh's stuff. Martin Leaker didn't really get to finish and do his presentation on his alternate history because everything was overrunning and he was severely overrunning himself. So they were kind of like the presentation sides, but for me it wasn't that. It was getting to meet up with a couple of hundred fellow flat earthers and chew the cud, and actually talk about flat earth as opposed to try and convince someone of flat earth face to face. It was. Do you think it? Sorry to interrupt. Do you think it was well received, or do you think it was kind of? I mean, all right. What context was it taken in that sense? Like the general population or the people that saw it. Well,
how was it?
There was only, like I say, a couple of hundred of us, and we were in a big hotel in the centre of Birmingham. So, as you can imagine, when I'm wandering around with the iron stick, going up and down in the lift, lots of people were asking me, "What's that for? What's that for?" So I had lots of opportunities with people in the lift to go, "Oh, it's for the Flat Earth Convention," and to be honest, there was only one guy that was a bit arsey, but he was really late at night and he was pissed out his head, to be fair. So but other than that, most people were very polite, not necessarily believing, but everyone, okay, and I just go, look into it, Google flat earth. Do you know what I mean? Nothing too preachy, but they did ask, so I didn't feel the need to have to bring the conversation up like that big lumpy stick often started it. And I suppose flat earth, when you brought that up, they were quite happy when the lift went bing and their floor had arrived. So, but no, I mean, to be honest with you, mate, there were people in the bar mingling and everybody was positive. Me and Gary, the organizer, sat chatting to a bloke for a little bit. His wife dragged us over because they'd obviously talking amongst themselves about it. So I think he'd been going, "Oh, I'll debunk him." So she dragged him over, and then went out for a fag and left us with him. But everybody, like I said, everybody was polite, and I wasn't witness to any kind of ad hominem attacks of any description. I don't know what they did when the lift doors shut. But
sorry, if you were to take it into if you were to judge it in a sense of, all right, how well received was it? Is it on a scale of 1 to 10? As 10 being excellent and 1 being shit. From 1 to 10.
By the people who attended.
I mean, I don't seem to have really heard much about it. I was thinking that I might have heard something about it on the TV or whatever. Even my family, they didn't know anything about it. They were over here last week and they didn't know anything about it. I was like, what? Come on, man.
Do you mean received by the people that attended?
Not only the people that attended, but I mean, like in general. I mean, like, was it put out that hey, there's a flat Earth conference in England, and it's the first one. It's going to be in Birmingham this weekend. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I mean, was it publicized in a sense that people knew about it, or was it kind of like a little bit hush?
Yeah, and probably more so in other. I don't do Facebook or anything like that, but lots of the people that I met were like from the Facebook community, and only didn't do the YouTube realm particularly or anything, so or Twitter and vice versa. There was people like me that don't do Facebook, so it was not. There was a good mixture of people, I think, from the flat Earth community, not necessarily the separate groups that exist. And it was refreshing to see how many people there. But yeah, I didn't hear. I think Gary, can you remember? There was a couple of moans, wasn't there, that Gary mentioned to us, Josh? Do you remember what they were? There was one was
live streaming. I know there was an issue with the live streaming. Though I don't know exactly what it was. I know people were getting a lot of interruptions and buffering and loading and things like that.
no one was Anthony Riley was holding a pint of beer while he was giving his talk. That was one complaint you received. But and there was another one as trivial as that. But there wasn't anything else. And certainly, I never heard anybody going, "Oh, this is boring. This is rubbish." It was, I'd say, really well received, I think, by the people that are there. That, and it wasn't any one theme. You know, it was people that you've probably heard about and seen their work presenting their work. And
who was your favourite speaker then? The one that you saw, which was the favourite, apart like from Dave Marsh, you said is very interesting, but like who was the favourite one you like listening to?
oh,
Just asking.
Martin.
Martin.
Totally, yeah. You know, you could listen to him all day, couldn't you? Because he's totally entertaining. And when he was up there, I said it the other day. There was one point, you know, he does play to the crowd, and he got the whole crowd doing "Oggy, Oggy, Oggy" back to him. So again, that lends to the mood in the room. But you know, yeah, Martin was the most entertaining speaker. There was so many. Sean Connors was great. Do you know what I mean? A completely different take on and more a bigger perspective and stuff. And I missed. I sat up late on the Saturday night, and part of that was chatting to allegedly Dave Moore and that, and then I ended up staying up a bit too late, so I missed his speech in the morning. So that's the one I've got to catch up on. I struggled, but no, they were all different. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't a favourite thing. They were all very informative, and I'd say individual people, and it was more meeting them, you know, chatting with Iru before and after, you know what I mean, and listening to his stuff.
I mean, it was nice being in a room of that.
Yeah, totally, mate. It was brilliant. And spending the evening chatting.
I have to say that I was speaking to my son earlier on today, and he said that a few places he's been driving around in, the graffiti is now changing. He has twice now seen graffiti up big on a great big bridge, the flat earth. So
oh, nice.
Sorry, people are starting to graffiti it now.
Well, what?
Yeah, nice.
What are the latest stats?
Well, you know, I'm sorry to interrupt, but yeah, I totally agree. That's what we need to do, you know. And I've been red pilling little kids today, wrong as it might seem, but I disagree. You know, I think it's correct to say to them, listen, do you know what planet shape we're living on? No. Do you think we're living on a ball? Yeah. Okay. Check again, because I think it's flat. You know, I'm saying to these two little kids, they're like 10-year-old, and they're looking at me like, But they're old enough to, you know, at least research or ask the mum and dad, you know, and if the mum and dad says, some idiot or whatever, you know, or maybe they might say, let's have a look. Let's look into it. You know, that's what I would do. If my kid came home and said to me, hey, Dad, check this out, blah, 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 you know, what? Well, let's have a look then. Let's see what it's all about, you know. That's the first thing I would do. You need to satisfy curiosities, don't you? You know, and especially with a child, put it to rest.
Well, we want children to have imaginations, don't we? But you mean put the flat earth thing in their mind?
Yeah, I want them to have an imagination, yeah, for sure. Not a problem. But I also want them to see realistically, you know. I want them to see what we're living on, and it's flat. The only thing I know is that we're living on a flat earth. We ain't living on a ball, a globe. We're not, you know, and it's fixed. It ain't moving anywhere. This is my own determination, you know. This is my own, this is what I've come to. If anyone else wants to have a different idea, then let them have that, you know. But this is my own, where I'm at.
He's right in a sense that we need the children. We need the children of today. Hopefully, more of them. And
At
then,
least get them thinking, Karen, you know.
anyway, Astral, thanks for that point of view and everything, what you've been doing. Kosta's gone a bit quiet. Kosta, are you there?
Yes.
Kosta, where were you
You know
last?
what happened today? I called a friend of mine in Cyprus, and he was showing me a video of the sunset at the same time I was talking with him. And I said to him, you know, this is not a globe. This is definitely not a globe. It must be flat, blah, blah. You know, I was telling him. He said, yeah, that's what some people are saying over here too. So it goes around. The news go everywhere. Yeah. I didn't expect him to say that. You know, I expect, what are you talking about? But no, he listened and he somehow agreed. So it's going to change things. But they will not accept. I don't think they will accept this stuff. It's going to be big. It's like a dogfight.
The thing is, they
But
can't really go against what they've done
they
now.
can go.
They've put so many millions and millions and trillions and years of programming into this thing. They're not going to keep it lightly, are they?
And if this falls down, it's going to be like a domino effect. It's going to take on other things, and it's going to be a big change. I think. Yeah, it can't go on like this.
I think they might step down. I don't know that the paradigm will completely shift, but I think they're not going to be able to hold on to the lie forever. But I don't think they're going to embrace the truth. They'll just deal out another lie. Maybe it's a little bit closer to the truth this time, and it'll help incorporate some of these new things. The idea that, you know, it's not a globe, but I don't think it'll ever be the truth. I don't think they're capable of giving us the truth, agreeing with the truth. They'll never want us all on the same page.
No, because then, especially in our minds, because that's where we're left, we're free people, and they don't want that, do they? They want us programmed.
Yes, they do.
Can I just say, Adam, is it you want to show something? Because he's got something on his screen, but I just think he showed. You've got to be careful, Adam. I think he was showing the Hangout link just a minute ago. He's mute. Is he muted?
He might be muted.
I was muted on the main mic. Sorry.
That's okay. Just that when you first put the picture up, you showed the Hangout, so just be careful. Be careful.
I'll stop sharing before I come off this screen then. I just wanted to show you that. Astral was talking about had it been on TV, and the following week it was on This Morning, the conference, and it was discussed there, and they were railroaded a bit, but what did come out of it was there was a survey.
Is that the actual screen grab from the TV?
Yeah.
It says, do you think the Earth is flat? And there you've got a globe, you know.
And nothing like a bit of presupposition.
Well, that is
exactly
from the website. That is probably live right now, is it not, Adam? That is what the current count.
Yeah, that's what I've just pulled up, because it's ticking up. It started at 6% by the end of the show. It was 8% by the end of that day. I think it was 12, 13, 14s, weren't it, Josh, Friday? And now, where are we, Tuesday? And it's at 17%. And what is there? There's
35,000.
Well, I'll tell you what we need to do. We all need to visit that site, and we all need to vote on that. That's what we need to do. We need to, as they say, porn bomb it.
You can only
Maybe
porn.
Adam could put the link in the chat room.
Yeah, I'll do that one to stop sharing, so I don't share. All I was going to, the point I was going to make there is they talk about, and maybe people have multiple voted, etc., but they talk about there's not that many flat earthers, only 100 in the UK. Well, on those figures, there's 6,086 votes for flat earthers. Well, you guys are flat earthers and you weren't aware of the poll. So that number will go up now. Do you know what I mean? So I do think there is a significant, as much as the media don't want to necessarily portray it, they want to stick it as a very fringe thing. I think there is a growing tide of opinions changing, and or at least people are opening their mind up, and maybe even if they don't think it's flat, they'll vote yes in something like this, as opposed to just.
Can I just say, I don't think we'll ever have a true measurement of how many we are, because it will always be corrupt to some degree. I don't think they want us to know. I think they'll suppress it as much as they can. I mean, all this flat Earth talk, it's like, well, they just want to ridicule it. They want to make it like the most amazing fantasy. Yeah, it's just like, this is just beyond belief, but it isn't. That's the thing. It's not. We need to push forward and find out how many we are, and we are, I believe, quite a significant number.
I'd agree.
And only a small percentage of us are vocal. I bet you there's a much larger percentage of it that accept it, but just aren't willing to be vocal about it. That they've, for one reason or another, have to keep it hush hush.
Mind you, if you go to Facebook or even YouTube and see some of the comments and what people say, it's probably enough to turn anybody off. I'll just stay quiet. I mean, like, some people are not very nice, are they? And yeah. But then some of us can't help but speak out, can we?
Yeah, some of us just couldn't keep it in any longer. That's right.
And we've all understood that the only way forward is to communicate, even if it takes a few good years, whatever it is, we need to communicate and grow as a people.
Yes, we do.
Because we're family.
I'll give you another good family effect to the conference, actually, Karen, that I met up with Dave, and actually one of the first people I met was John Savage. Set me a challenge. He says, you've got to go and find Rob Durham. He's definitely going to the conference. Go and find Rob Durham. And literally, I met Dave, allegedly Dave first, just as I was going up, to find the room. And then literally the next person I met was Rob Durham. And he was giving a little intro chat on the Friday night and asking for a bit of help with some experiments and the lights, and it turned out he only lives just around the corner from my mum and dad, so sort of 40 minutes away from me. And it basically, out of the conference, I was chatting, me, Dave Marsh, hopefully as well, and Rob Durham will be, well, me and Dave will be helping Rob doing his microwave testing, basically like laser lights, laser sight testing over water, but he's going to be using microwaves, which kind of can't get refracted in any way. So preliminary testing over some shallow water. So hopefully we're going to be, and I've got to get in touch with him this week, actually. Yeah, so a real positive coming out of that is, like I said, people from the community coming together and working together, and hopefully, supporting each other to get some good scientific results.
Mm. Yeah, you like to do the odd experiment, don't you, Adam?
I don't mind a little tinker with an experiment. yeah, one or two.
Well, here's what's good about Adam, and again, he's being quite modest, is he does have his hands in all sorts of stuff. But he was handing out more than just T-shirts there at the conference too. Why don't you tell him about what else you were passing out there, Adam?
Yeah, I kind of took the opportunity of the conference to promote a long-standing cause and passion of mine, which is fluoride-free toothpaste. And I've been flogging it in the shop for quite a while, and doing it completely at cost. plus VAT, you know, just so people can get access to it more affordably, because it's £5 or £6 or more a tube when you see it in, you know, in the on the high street. So I kind of took the opportunity there to kind of promote the issue a little bit, and kind of stuck a load of Iron Realm stickers on it, and we managed to get a tube to everybody that attended, and some, I think.
That's very nice of you, Adam.
Well, like I say, hopefully those that were aware of fluoride free would pass it on and spread the message, and that was kind of the purpose of it.
Yeah, he had a whole carload he took with him.
Yeah.
On top of the iron stick.
Great that we're all starting to sort of recognise each other as well. Like, hey, Adam from Iron Realm Media.
Sorry, Adam, can I just say, right? There are maybe some people here that are not aware about the dangers of fluoride. You know, we take it for granted that fluoride is in toothpaste, it's good for you, you know, but a lot of people are unaware. Like, we are aware and we know the dangers of fluoride, but maybe you could, you know, I don't know, add upon that, and, you know, and just say to people what it is that you found out about fluoride, you know, that you want them to buy this fluoride free.
I probably wouldn't go too in depth, but I would make a couple of statements. You know, it's read your toothpaste. If it says on it, you know, if you ingest this, go to A&E. Fluoride is classified as a poison, and whilst I do concede it's given in very, very small amounts, parts per million in toothpaste, where the benefits of fluoride can at least be supported in toothpaste, because you are applying it locally, and that's how it works. One major issue is the fluoridation of water, because there really is scant evidence to suggest how water that you drink can benefit your teeth. You know, you really do need to have direct contact and exposure of the fluoride with the tooth itself. So it's of dubious nature that. Now, obviously, there's health, the associated health risks. There's the obvious one, which all kind of weight people discuss, which is its calcification of the pineal gland, which is noted and ignored, because the pineal gland doesn't have a function in modern medicine. You'll see a lot of people that use heavy fluoride stuff get excessively whitening of the teeth, little white spots. That's really is a sign of over fluoridation, that is, and that's where the structure of the tooth's breaking down to the point where it's not getting strengthened by fluoride, but it's actually starting to break it down, and you're seeing the loss of colour and a whitening of the tooth, and that's too much fluoride, and that's just as bad, because fluoride is of benefit in your teeth. There's no doubt about that.
And
in very small amounts.
We're talking naturally occurring fluoride that has health benefits for your teeth, though. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And so, but what we're not talking about is certainly in terms.
Hang on a sec. You said it's beneficial to have fluoride. I disagree.
No. I'm talking from a purely physiological point of view, with respect to small amount in the teeth. Now, this is the base of what.
They've never found that small amounts of this, trace elements of, fluoride to be beneficial. They haven't. It's not beneficial. No, and it is a poison.
Not in water. No. What I'm talking about is there is, with small amounts of fluoridation of teeth, you can demonstrate, that they are more robust to enamel breaking down products that you'll eat. Now, the overall benefit of that is only if you're.
Sorry to say, no.
Well, yeah, okay. Let him finish, Astral. Astral, just let him finish.
Sorry,
Let me put it into context, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just literally talking about the corrosive effect of the enamel itself. Okay, so now that corrosive effect is is improved with fluoride, because what it does is it replaces some of the calcium in the matrix structure of the enamel, and this is a thing called calcium apatate, and it becomes calcium fluoroapatate, and that makes it a lot more impervious to breakdown and much more rigid, which in the sole purpose of teeth in very small amounts you could possibly excuse its use in certain controlled conditions, such as topical exposure, which is what you see in some dental procedures now. Now, that being said, the body is a biological system, and it repeats and uses processes in lots of other systems and body compartments. And this apatate also plays a part in the formation of, how do I put it? Atherosclerotic plaques is what they are. And they're the things that when your blood vessels rupture, the body comes along and fixes it. And it uses this apatate structure to form a kind of wire mesh where it fixes underneath. Now, ordinarily, without any fluoridation in the water, the body breaks this. Once it's fixed underneath, it breaks it down, and the artery itself heals. What you've seen since introduction of fluoride in toothpaste and drinking water, and it's particularly drinking water that's more prevalent, is you see fluoride particles in the bloodstream. Now, these will do the same process that they do in the teeth, but within these kind of structural protection things. Now, the net effect of that is it makes it harder for the body to break down, and that's why you see coronary artery inclusions, I think, is part of the contributory fact. It was red meats, it's not red meats. Nobody really knows why, and I do think that fluoride, along with a lot of other processes that they within body structures, this single process does, as well as the toxification of cells itself, because we don't need fluoride. I think they have some specific stuff, but it's very hard when you're talking to people who aren't awake and don't know the details of fluoridation to try and ignore that, because it's a bit like with ball earth and that. They'll always argue the bit of science they know. And there's nothing wrong with recognizing that, yeah, it does do that in very small amounts. You don't want too much because it will turn your teeth bright white and they'll fall out and crumble. Yeah. But in very small doses, it can have a beneficial effect. Is that what's needed for people's teeth? No. We need a much less sugar-rich diet is what's needed. And then you won't need these extra strengthening agents to counteract the effect of the excess mouth acid people have in the modern diet. Does that redeem me, Astral?
Well, yeah, I agree there totally with the sugar. Sugar acid has got to be the biggest cause of, problems in our mouths, with our bodies. Yeah, if we eat healthily, then we'll be good. But when we start eating things that are causing, our body to have, too much acid or, too much, what's it called, starch, we create problems for ourselves. And this with fluoride, I don't buy it, I really don't. I'm sorry to say, but I'm not into fluoride, because if it's poison, if it's not a natural thing that's like in a banana or in an apple, I ain't buying it. It's good for your teeth. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the way I come from. I think if it's man-made, I
wish I'd never made
that's the way I see
point.
Things. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not the point I'm making, mate. As you hopefully can understand, I was away giving away a lot of fluoride-free toothpaste to promote the course. So the point I'm making is that you can't negate what it does. Yeah, and of course I don't promote it, but I'm just saying recognition of the chemical process and why dentists are forced to recommend it. I think we need to be aware of the things that back in the days, dentists, they were giving this, that, and the other. Hey, this is great for you.
Look what they put in your mouth, man. Look what they fill your mouth with, you know, fillings. How good are fillings? They're very, I mean, they ain't good for us. We know that, you know. So, I mean, it's like we have learned a lot. We know more today than we do, or than what we knew yesterday. You know, we know more today than what we did 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, you know. And when it comes to learning about our bodies and health, especially now we know all about big pharma and what they're trying to do, you know, with like gleaners for every second last penny that we have, you know, make us as ill as possible to get as much medicine use out of us as possible, you know. And that's the way I see it. It's like, yeah, it's money, 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 you know, make you ill, buy the medicine, try and cure yourself, but you're not curing, you're just prolonging it, you know. And then it's the same shit again, you know. And it's like hay fever. People that have got hay fever, you're always going to have hay fever if you keep taking the nose, whatever it is you take, you know. It's yeah, they just prolong it.
Well, what they do is they give you the problem and then they say, and they don't tell you they've given you the problem, and they go, oh, but we've got the solution. But they gave you the problem in the first place.
And they designed that problem so that you react a specific way in which you ask for the solution that they're about to provide. So it's a complete and total manipulation. But yeah, I completely agree. And that's what's so scary about fluoride, is that it's in everything these days. Well, almost everything. Tea, coffee, toothpaste. I mean, you look at the back of the toothpaste, it says, call poison control if you ingest it. And it tells you put a pea-sized amount of toothpaste on your toothbrush, but then watch the adverts on how they apply the toothpaste to the toothbrush. It looks like an ice cream cone. Nice little swirly tip on the end. When you take a shower in it, the pores of your skin open up and you're absorbing it in through your skin. It's unregulated. They have no idea how much people are actually ingesting, but it's got to be a considerable amount. And that's what's scary for me. Just how much is being ingested with no thought. But I think that,
yeah, Josh, I heard a documentary a while back about fluoride, and if you were ingesting fluoride, right, just for 1 year, you're never going to get rid of it out of your body. It's permanently, your body's permanently damaged 1 year of ingesting it, right? And if you think about every time we have a glass of water, or you know, I mean, it is in water. It's in, like you say, so many things nowadays, you know. And we've just been ingesting for God knows how many years of our lives, unaware. And now we're at a point where, well, okay, pineal gland, that is totally calcified. What do? Eat loads of celery, eat loads of lemon juice, you know. I mean, what can you do? It's too late, probably.
well, here's what's cool about the fluoride-free toothpaste that we are trying to provide, is it's not just your normal minty toothpaste. It doesn't have fluoride in it. We've got activated charcoal fluoride-free toothpaste. We've got the mint toothpaste. We have coconut oil-based toothpaste. We've got like a fruit-based toothpaste for the kids, because the mint might be a little bit strong and they don't really care for it. So we've got children's fluoride-free toothpaste in a way that they will actually enjoy brushing their teeth with it. I think the whole idea we need to put out there is flooding the market with this stuff, because as it is now, it's almost hard to find fluoride-free toothpaste and get it in an affordable way. So especially here in the United States, where this entire line of fluoride-free toothpaste isn't available, the plan is to import it over here, and we'll just start pumping it out over here for dirt cheap in hopes that people will wake up and start using some fluoride-free toothpaste and get a little dental health in the process, because that activated charcoal I hear is really good. I'm looking forward to trying that.
Yeah, well, I think that's also good, right? But I think the main thing is that people are aware of what's going on, you know, and are aware of, you know, the pitfalls with, yeah, using that toothpaste, fluoride-based toothpaste, you know, and that they know that there are other alternatives, you know, like you say, you can get fluoride-free, you know. I mean, yeah, that's the way forward, man.
Astral.
As long as people know about it, you know, that's the thing. They need to know.
Fluoride, it's one of the easiest. Like my wife's not into flat Earth. She's like, I'm sure she's quite happy that I know what it is, and she's not that bothered. But one of the things we did raise many years ago, certainly before flat Earth, but when I was getting a little bit more, was the use of fluoride free, particularly for our kids. And she was not having it. Obviously, had all the standard mainstream concerns and I just said, look, I can't tell you anything, but go and read yourself. And within a couple of days, she'd read a few and read sufficient to convince herself that actually, yeah, it was nonsense. Our kids, maybe Leo used it when his first teeth come out. Do you know what I mean? But so we haven't used it at all. And for me, it's one of the easiest things to actually wake people up to, because it's very easy to research. It's very hard to defend when anybody bothers to have a little read themselves, and it's a good starting point as well.
Controlling it even from the bathroom of your house with your toothpaste.
Oh yeah.
And it does point a huge finger at those powers that would be, and to how it is they will manipulate numbers and studies just to make a buck, whether you want to believe that they're scraping the aluminum plant steam towers and taking the byproduct and dumping it in the water just for the profit of not having to dispose of it properly, or if they're doing it for more nefarious reasons of, you know, lowering IQ or a slow kill Holocaust. Either way, it's a conspiracy. By definition, it's a conspiracy. So fluoride is a great way to open people up to the idea that we are
a bit more than a conspiracy on that one, because you've just got facts. It's not just a conspiracy, is it? It's facts.
Right. Well, so many of the conspiracies are, and that's, again, it's all part of retraining their brain. So if you can get them to look to see that the people in charge of them don't have their best interests in mind, and then you teach them what a conspiracy actually is. When you have, you know, two or more people acting together against the rights of another, you show them that it's not this CIA propaganda that they put out in the 60s, that conspiracies are real. Here's what a conspiracy is. Here's what they're doing with fluoride. See, fluoride is a conspiracy.
I think, sorry, Adam, can I just say, I think all this talk of, especially the word conspiracy, as soon as we hear this word conspiracy theory, like, you know, you're a psycho, you're a weirdo, you've got the tin hat, aluminium foil and all that kind of crap. But no, it's not quite like that. I don't see it as that, right? I mean, I know I've been looking into, we all have, you know, all these, like, we call them conspiracies, things that are going on that are not right. I would not call it a conspiracy. I'll just say, I would like to call it something different. Let's just say that it's something that ain't right. You know, I want to find out what is the truth. So it's nothing to do with like a conspiracy. That's like, what is it? That was a term coined by the government, weren't it?
But no,
a long time ago.
No, what they did was they co-opted that term. The term conspiracy is a legal term, a lawful term.
It's yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So they took it and they co-opted.
I know the connotations of it all and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's like, we need to get away from being classified as conspiracy theorists, because it's not a conspiracy theory we're running. It's not a conspiracy theory that we're looking into. This is all fact. This is all the truth. And that's why we're here, isn't it? We're here for the truth.
And that's what conspiracy. So that's what we need to change, is the theory into fact, because the conspiracy remains the same. The conspiracy is there regardless. We need to change their thinking that it's a theory into that it's a fact. And that's why I like fluoride, because the facts are there. It's easy for them to go back and look and see and say, oh, well, okay, this is now conspiracy fact. Here's the facts. And yes, it is a conspiracy. But I'm all about taking back the term conspiracy, because the way it's defined, especially in like Black's law, it's what it is. It's a conspiracy. We can use other words. We can use collusion. There's other words that we can use that would sort of define the same way, but I don't think any of them bear the weight that conspiracy does. And unfortunately, it does come with extra luggage that the CIA threw on it when they co-opted it and started linking it with, the mentally unstable that thought JFK was killed by anybody else than a lone gunman. But I think it's time we actually take it back, because there's conspiracies abound, and I can't think of a better way to summarize what's going on into one word other than conspiracy. That just seems the most succinct way to put what's happening.
Kosta, do you want to say something?
Oh yeah, it's good to define this term. It's many things they do with words, and there's mostly, for me, I see it more on the mind level. All these are physical. Fluoride and other things they do. It's more on the physical level, but on the spiritual or mind level, let's say, I think it's bigger. I think that's the attack is up there, and especially like words like astronaut, for example. You know what "not" means? Yeah, you know what it means? Yeah, I tell you.
Yeah, zero.
No. You remember
No.
that question you said yesterday? You said something about nautical terms. You remember, Karen?
Right, yeah, from the quiz.
From the quiz, yeah. So nautical has to do with the sea, okay? Nafsi, it's like a word for the sea in Greek, but not basically means sailor, okay? So sailor of the stars, basically.
Astro sailor.
Yeah. That's what it means. That's the actual meaning.
Sailor.
And from naut, yeah, you have nautical miles.
Yeah.
Even nausea, you have nausea, the seasickness. Okay. So that's what it means. Also, in the spaceship, the ship sailing with the ship in the stars. I mean, it's a joke. They are playing with our minds clearly. So I think they are joking with us. They're just waiting for us to respond or something. It's provocative, I find.
Yeah, well, I've thought that too, Costa. At times that some things are just so ridiculous. I mean, it must be a litmus test. They tested us. They want to see how weak we are, how stupid we are. How dumb the general population is, the sheeple. And when they threw this SpaceX, this car up into space, I mean, come on, get real. I mean, are you ridiculous or what? No one's going to fall for that shit. It was ridiculous. I ain't believing that crap. Really? I don't believe it. I mean, seriously, what? I mean, I can't speak. Words fail me. They really do, because you just cannot believe that crap,
Well, I'm sure that Adam and Josh also don't believe that a car is up there in space either.
No. But I'm sure people do. I'm sure people saw that and bought it hook, line, and sinker.
Really, they just say that that's true and they believe that without questioning.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and it's hard for me because I forget how brainwashed people are, just how conditioned people are. And I'm constantly amazed at that fact that they never cease to amaze me. Just the stupid shit people will believe without question, just accept, oh, well, I saw it on television. So are you sure that's not true? So yeah, I know people, if only a small percentage, completely believe that Tesla launched, that he that Elon Musk launched his Tesla up into space.
There's a lot of
Josh, sorry, I was just going to say, you can test people's awareness of, like, you know, their reality scale, where they're at. Throw something on TV. As long as it's on TV, it doesn't matter. When it comes on TV, they believe it. Like you say, hook, line, and sinker, because it's on TV, and that's the medium, that is the choice of. Yeah, I mean, that's where they get the news from, isn't it? It's got to be true. It was on the news. It's on the TV. That is coming from the government. They don't lie to us. And that's the general consensus, I believe, that most people have, you know. It's on TV. It's got to be true. Therefore, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the conditioning. That's the public school system. That's what it is. Don't question what you're told. Just accept it.
I've thought about something, by the way. I've just thought, if it was so amazing and so real and so factual and so educational and everything like that, how come it's not on the television more? It's not really. It's just mentioned occasionally in the news. It's not like we've got all these programs about space and all this kind of stuff really going on the television that much. It's on YouTube.
It's, well, for the people that are really interested in the space launches and the rockets and the Teslas that are out there floating in the cosmos, they're probably going to hit the internet and they get a bit more of a niche information. They're looking for the more technical aspects, probably. For everybody else, for the people that are just drinking their beer, watching their sports ball, their indoctrination comes a bit more subtly. So it doesn't look like it's everywhere until you start really watching that television, that mind control box, and look at it and see just how out there it's. They don't have to tell you all about it. They just act as if it's assumed that you already know it to be a fact. So they just put all the stuff out there and you just accept it. Well, they are assuming it, that I know it to be true, so then I must accept it to be true. Because why would they wouldn't just assume it if it were wrong? So what they're assuming must be right. So I'm going to assume that too. And that's just, again, the way they perpetuate the mind control. Just through those subtle little, they act as if.
I don't think
done it
people
forever.
care.
You know what they were? Can I say something? One story, please? I have 2 minutes. I remember one story in Cyprus, like maybe eight years ago. They were advertising a bank, okay? And they were saying one bank was the advertisement. One bank, think about it, it can happen, okay? Every day it's like becoming, or you put your accounts in one and advertise it like that, okay? And then there was an economic crash that happened. And to bail out, there was a whole story. First, the president asked from all the people to put like 5% of their bank account, but the money they had to bail out the country. And everybody was rushing to the bank to take their money out. You know, it was a big thing. And then next week, he said they changed their minds from Europe, the International Monetary Fund, to take those who have more than 100,000 to take all their money. And so everybody that had more than 100,000, they took all their money from that particular bank. And basically there were two big banks in Cyprus, and one of them had to close down. So it became one bank. And they were telling us on TV like for a year, like an advertisement. So I can't, imagine how far they go ahead. This is big thinking. To create this, you need some kind of extra knowledge from me. I don't think you can do it so well in all over the world. It's like a corporation like McDonald's. They open restaurants everywhere, thousands in the world. But actually, it's the same they do with the governments. The governments are like this. They are set up in all the countries. It's the same system. It's too much.
Well, it's a matrix, isn't it?
It's a matrix. Yeah, yes. And it's so similar everywhere. It's the same tactic. You say, okay, one country is a bit different.
Something about deep thing. It's just so deep.
It's so deep. It's so deep. Yeah. So from a flat Earth,
each one of us does our own bit as best we can for flat Earth, but it's just so deep.
Yeah.
Well, look at that ITV poll. 2 years ago, that would have never hit 17%. Never. I don't care how long you kept it up there, it wasn't going to hit 17%.
Anyway, you've also missed something else as well, without being horrible to the poll. A lot of flat earthers don't watch the television. Only the globe. Sorry, sounds horrible, but the globe, the Earth, the round Earth people, they are watching the television. So it doesn't really represent how many flat earthers there are, because a lot of them, maybe people have gone on there now to actually put their vote on, but they weren't watching it, so they didn't know. Yeah, anybody watching these programs is in the program.
Well, sorry, Karen. I think, as time goes on, people will become more aware of, like, okay, we don't need to watch TV because it is just utter garbage and utter shit, right? I mean, God, I figured that out a long time ago. But as time goes on, more people will become more aware of that TV is, like I say, pure shit, and they'll find other alternatives like we did on YouTube, And if you're looking on YouTube, well, what do you want to look for? Well, find something that will interest you, something that will probably spark your curiosity, and that's probably where we are all in the same sort of a soup bowl, in a sense, where we've all been like, our curiosity has been piqued, and we found the flat Earth, and once you find the flat Earth, it's like, what? I mean, okay, you need to suss it out. Is it right? Is it wrong?
The whole thing's really weird anyway, because if you watch the GMTV thing, they act as if they've never heard of it before. Never. No, they didn't have Mark Sargent on there a few months ago, did they? Oh, no. You know what I mean? Like, their faces, absolute horror.
They have to portray it in a dumb way, because obviously, if you're a flat earther, you're the dumbest person on earth. That's the way they see it. Where it's the contrary. We are not dumb. In fact, we're the most awake people on earth.
Yeah.
Aren't we?
Yeah.
It pisses me off, that people can be so ridiculous and so, narrow-minded and so closed in. I know so many intelligent people, they don't get it. They just don't get it. I'm like, what? Why don't you get it? What can you not get? What is there not to get? Water is flat. You can't get water to stick to a flipping ball. No matter how many times you try it. All right, yeah, okay. You probably could if you was to freeze it and do some sort of stupid experiment or whatever. But if you was to try and get water on a ball,
it ain't
going to happen, is it?
Gravity or a bumblebee. Ridiculous. It's all just absolutely ridiculous. It's just incredible. It's disgusting.
Well,
to do this to the people.
And that's again where fluoride comes in great, especially for the TV watching masses. If you could just dose them up on as much fluoride as they could possibly ingest, shit, you can get them to believe almost anything.
Makes you docile, doesn't it? And more subservient. Was it Hitler that purportedly
Mm,
I can't remember.
I thought Stalin first and then
Was it-
Hitler, but I might be wrong, and I'm not even sure that any of that's been verified.
Yeah, I think it was something to do with the war on Hitler, and he was dumbing down the population by using fluoride in the water, you know, from what I heard.
But you talk about dumbing down and that, and I'll go back to this morning interview. It was a disingenuous interview because, you know, the first set of questions were like things like, well, why would the powers that be lie about it? You know, and that's the kind of question that you can't answer. Do you know what I mean? And well, what does it look like?
I think you could answer that question. Well, of course you can answer the question. Just needs to think about it. Why would they hide it though, Adam?
You'll sound like a complete
3 minutes, didn't they, or 5 minutes. They had such a short period of time. It's ridiculous. I don't even know how they asked them to come along. What's 5 minutes? I mean, no, it's good that 5 minutes of flat Earth is on the national television. But I'm just saying, what can you do in 5 minutes?
Yeah. It's ridiculous, you know. They ought to pay it more attention because it's a big thing, and it ain't a ridiculous thing.
When those
This
reporters
is a real,
came around, when
it's
I
real,
was
isn't it?
paper, right?
It's real.
They sat with me for over half an hour, and I was trying to show them stuff, but it was just nowhere near enough. And that was having 2 people on their own without cameras on them, looking at stuff on the computer to try and explain this to them. And
it's a control map. Are you aware of the bit they cut out? So on the this morning clip for the first few hours, it was 10 minutes long. And then by the end of the day, it was 7.5, nearly 8 minutes long. And the bit they cut out, they had Brian Cox on to scientifically discredit Flat Earth by going, well, if you believe in this, it's nonsensical. You know, totally disproved it with good science. But what Gary, he said, what could they do? But Gary kind of hijacked it and just kind of made a few statements and put a challenge out to Brian Cox and anyone to come and debate a team of flat earthers. And that's the bit that they cut out of the YouTube clip from the ITV.
Yeah, well, you know, can I just say something? I think that's where they're going to fail because no one wants to challenge a flat earther. They won't. They don't want to do it. If they want to do it, it's going to be edited. It's going to make us look, you know, ridiculous in some sort of way. But they will not do a live 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, whatever it is, debate because they know they're going to get their assholes ripped apart, man. They will just can't do it. They can't handle it because. Yeah, but the thing is this: we have truth on our side, and they have only got lies. Their whole fucking thing is based upon lies. We've only got the truth, you know? So we're going to win, hands down. No one will debate a flat earther. Why won't they not? Why won't they do it? Because they know they're going to lose. They're shitting it. Sorry to say, but they're scared.
But like you said, I said earlier on, they've had this whole program, years and years, masses of money into convincing the people that they're living in something completely different. Imagine that. We're in the biggest film ever.
Shit production standards.
Well, it's definitely sort of hit some of us, hasn't it? Because we just can't let go of it, and we want to communicate and get, as you know, message out, and I don't know. I just don't know why people. I go around to my family, some of my family, and they just don't take their eyes off the television, and they have to watch the news. It's best not to watch.
That's that belief in authority. You have to have someone else to spoon feed you information. So everybody's constantly looking for the next person to spoon feed them information, tell them how they need to be thinking. What should they be caring about right now? Let's turn on the television to find out. And that I think that just comes from that public school. The whole way it's designed, it's just meant to create little worker bees, little soldier bees. As long as you don't question the person who says they have the authority, then the better you do.
Yeah, ask you, Josh. Josh, do you have lots of people around you who believe?
I wouldn't say a lot. Well, I don't have a lot of people around me to begin with. I keep my circle pretty small. I would say maybe a third would be willing to accept the idea. I'd go that far. But the other 2/3, I think, or maybe another third fight violently against it because they know they have to make it true that the earth is a ball. They have to accept the fact that the earth is a ball, so they fight against the flat earth violently because deep down they know they don't have any arguments. Then there's another third who just don't care, who are too busy watching baseball or football or whatever it is they're watching while they're, just trying to get up and drag themselves out of bed to go into work so that they can earn enough life credits so that they can stay alive long enough to make it home at the end of the day. So they're not that interested. But I figured a third of the people that I know is a relatively good amount, considering I don't think there would have been a single person prior to 3 years ago that would have ever entertained the idea.
Yeah, we've probably moved along quite fast, really, in the last few years, really. I mean, this time last year, there wasn't conferences, conventions going on the television. I mean, it looked through research that we had been through on this channel that basically you could find things up until about the year 2000, and then it completely stops at the year 2000. 1997 or something, it stops. Just coming up for the millennium. So in one sense, we've probably done quite well.
Yeah, I think you're right. In one sense, I think we have done quite well. And I think in another sense, it's a minuscule drop in the bucket.
What about
uphill battle?
What about you, Adam? Do you have lots of people around you who believe in it or not?
I think a little like Josh. I know I've got a few converts. I was pleased to hear the other day, Josh, that my wife's sister, her ex-boyfriend, is, even though they've split up, he's still an adamant flat earther.
Yeah.
He's in it for the right reason.
Up though, but yeah, to him being a flat earther.
And Carl, as you know, who I work with, he would say the earth's flat. As for a few of the other people, they're certainly open to the idea, and I think more to the point when you've been around someone and you've not broken friends with them or whatever, for whatever reason, they're a flat earther. A bit like my brother-in-law, he's open to the suggestion, but he's a bit like that third, but he's a bit like the middle third as well, as Josh describes it, where he's got a kind of apathy to whatever it is. He doesn't really see the significance in it, and so there's a good percentage like that. And then there's actually a guy that I've known for a long time through work connections and as a friend as well. He's texted me tonight, and I've kind of I'll share it with you, you won't mind. So he started out with a flat earth joke for you.
Watch out for your hangout link. Make sure you...
I'll just put it on someone else.
I was say, yeah, just time your screen share.
No, I've got it. I'm reading it off my phone. You're all good.
Perfect.
Okay then.
It's a WhatsApp message, so yeah. It's a bad joke we've all heard, so I apologise for it. The flat earthers are really growing in number. In fact, they have people all around the globe. But then genuinely afterwards, he's asking, so why has no one gone to the edge? Surely that would be the best way to confirm or deny. So he's not taking the mick. He's asking the questions, we asked years ago. Do you know what I mean? And I'll guide him to those answers. And then the next thing is, what about all these sailors that sail around the earth? if the Earth is flat, why aren't they saying anything? So there are also genuine people that aren't flat earthers, are probably still ballers, but are actually now engaging in the debate. And I think gently does it. Do you know what I mean? I've got.
Can I say one thing, Adam?
Yeah.
I went to spoil my ballot paper in the local elections the other week. The UK's, the rest of it's having it like this week or whenever it is, but we had ours early because someone left and blah blah blah. So we had ours a couple of weeks early. But I went in there and I don't know why my phone, I was recording it, but it didn't come out, so I'm really annoyed about that. But I went in and I just said, all these people here, why isn't there a no box? I said, I want to vote no to any of this. And they said, oh, I don't know. I never thought about that. And that's where they've got everybody, because people are not thinking, not on anything. They're just not thinking.
I think all you can do is spoil your ballot paper. That's what you've got.
I did. I put a great big over the whole thing. But what I'm trying to say is that even the people, I never thought about having it. Why isn't there a no box on the ballot papers? I'm sure if they put a no box to all the above, voting no to any of these people, I bet you'd find that number would get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So they can't put that on there, can they? But no one thought about it, even in the ballot place. No, I never thought about that. But that's where society is. A lot of people are just not thinking about these things. Not thinking about, hey, look, I can see the other mountain across there and it's 20, 50, 60 miles away. I can see the bottom of it from here. Whatever.
But the only thing I did, I'm scrolling through my Twitter feed. It is somewhere years ago, the last time I did vote. So it's a good few years ago. And I did a Monty Brewster. I don't know if you know that. So just wrote none of the above across the ballot paper. So I didn't just scribble across it. I just put none of the above. So I bothered to vote. It was when I was in that quandary point of whether to vote anymore or not. I think shortly after I'd voted Jedi on the census. Do you know what I mean? But it was that's I think that's all you've got in terms of within the electoral system. All you do have is to spoil your ballot. So it doesn't matter what you write in reality.
Okay, if a lot of people went to spoil their ballot paper, that would be good. But none of them go. People don't go, do they?
No, but spoiled ballots are counted. So if actually instead of voting UKIP, everybody got up and spoiled their ballot paper, then whilst it doesn't technically, if the Monster Raving Looney Party got 53 votes, they would be elected. It would be the message you could send, and that's the only democratic message I think we've been empowered with. That there isn't a none of these tossers box, is there, that you can directly vote? So all you can do is, like I say, spoil it. But it's a.
You could have these boxes, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. Just want to ask this question very quickly to Kosta. Kosta, do you have lots of people around you who you can talk to about this, or have you not got many around you?
No, just that's a couple I said so far. The rest I don't talk about it. Well, I will do eventually. I'll try to find like a question or something in the beginning, some experience I had or something, just to start a conversation and see how it goes from there. But yeah, mostly I talk about things that people don't give too much attention, like words especially. I have this thing with words lately, and it's really interesting. And the thing is with humans, like what human means, basically what man means, man or woman, human. It comes from anthropos, like when you have anthropology, okay? But in English, the term is not very well like specified. It's like a type of animal, just the shape of it like that. But the actual meaning of the word means somebody who is seeking, like not somebody. Sorry, the type of living being that differs from the other animals. That he seeks things. You know, he's looking into things. This is the meaning of the word. So when you question things, it's the most important thing. This is what we are actually. So quest, and then quest in Greek would be erotisi. Okay, that comes from eros. Eros, you know, erotic. So you need to have like this passion, this love for life, that you are seeking things. This is what makes you who you are and finding the truth, basically. So I think more people are looking into things. It's a big change. I see a change anyway.
Can I just say that Kosta probably hasn't been a flat earther forever, and right now he's on a mega research thing, aren't you? You're reading everything.
Yes, because look what happens. If you see history with a bowler, it changes everything. If you see history of flat earth, for example, these like flying objects like UFOs that come in, if you see it like a ball earth, like now people think, it's like coming from above, like from the sky somewhere up there. Yeah. But if you see like a flat earth, they come from the side somehow, isn't it? They're not coming from above. So we have some visitations. That's another thing. I think it's there. It's happening. There's something beyond, and it would change the course of history. Of course, it has a lot of factors.
Well, something doesn't add up with the way things are, because we've got nice weather today, right? But my daughter-in-law comes from Lithuania, and she's going back to visit her family at the weekend, and it's going to be 30 degrees there.
Oh, man.
I mean, Lithuania's quite a bit more north. The winters will be cold, but they have really quite warm summers there. How can that be when they're looking more Arctic, that direction? Just don't add up.
Exactly, yeah.
They have hotter
countries
weather
up there, even in Russia,
yeah, it's near Russia.
Yeah, why in England it's so
They
different.
go to the Baltic Sea for holidays.
Yeah, Baltic Sea.
So something's not quite right there about. I just think that there's lots of hot places and cold places in this place we live. Hot places and cold places. You know, you've got the Alps in the middle of two hot countries. Everest is in a hot country. The whole thing. I just think there's hot places and cold places, and they're just well, we know they're lying. Adam, you did a test, didn't you, on the moon?
Oh, many moons ago, yeah. It was. Oh man, Josh, are you there? How long ago was that? A year or so?
About.
It sounded wrong. It sounded wrong that when you said that, Karen. Josh, you did a test on the moon, like he's been on the moon.
Yeah.
I want to say
find out you can't go there.
At least 9 months.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, it was a challenge from John Savage. He kind of kept saying to me, "Have you ever done the moon landing?" I said, "Well, no, I've never seen. I've seen enough credible tests to not doubt it, and I've never seen anybody really disprove it. So, and it's always been my experience and my understanding was, you know, moonlight was cold. It was never something that I was that surprised when I got into flat earth that people were talking about. But it was kind of one of those things that I've never really thought about. And then the consequences. So being a bit geeky, John said, well, go and do a proper scientific experiment then. So kind of looked at all the stuff that was out there and the critiquing of it, you know, people just shining lasers here, there and everywhere, and came up with a funky contraption which included a bit of Lego, but was basically a moon shade, a bit like a parasol that you'd have for the sun. And I tested it in the sun, and I tested it in standard conditions and all, and I'd actually got some proper HMR weights and measures calibrated thermometers for it. And with it as well, I had a couple of test zones, so a plastic box, and then also a glass dome. It was a taxidermy jar. And tested that with the sun, and obviously, as you would expect, that got hotter in the glass dome than anything else, because it's like being in the greenhouse, and the plastic box kind of insulated to a point. So everything, all the equipment worked, and there's all the test data that to kind of show it. And then I kind of set out to start doing the moonlight experiments, and was not surprised, but kind of amazed to see it in front of your eyes. Do you know what I mean? Because this wasn't ambiguous stuff, but I wasn't just taking random readings. I was taking readings over what, 1.5 to sort of 3 hour periods, where I weren't just measuring the temperatures, I was measuring the rate of cooling, and then also swapping the probes over, and that was one of the first good tests. I got to the point where there was a clear difference between the one in the moon shade and the one in the moonlight. Swap the two probes over, and they were only 6 inches apart on an open bench in the garden, and we were showing what I think we got to 1.2 degrees was the main difference, but no way had this equipment showed any variation like that in any of the other conditions. So it was quite a significant thing, and these machines are calibrated to and guaranteed to 0.1 of it, plus or minus 0.1 of a degree of accuracy. So yeah, I did a number of tests which kind of confirmed it, even in a kind of not quite sunset. It was before sunset, so the sun was still kind of out, but the moon was up and high, and even there was no direct sunlight in the garden, but I set up the shading from the moon, and the moonlight even during the day had a slightly more cooling effect. And there was one experiment that I did that for the majority of the experiments, the one in the glass jar didn't get that cool, but on one of the longer experiments, it actually got down to the level of the one in the moonlight and was kind of heading south, and had been, but it was stupid o'clock in the morning, and I kind of gave up there when it at least reached the same temperature as the one outside, which, as you know, in a greenhouse at night, even if you think the moonlight's warmer, you know, it's warmer inside the greenhouse because there's no wind chill factor, even if there's very little wind. So there was a number of significant results. And then we did one live on air, Josh, didn't we? I went to Italy and literally just set up in the garden with a cardboard box on top of a bench,
Forgot about that.
Do you remember? Set it up, didn't we? And we just had one thermometer one side, which was exposed to the moon shade, and the other side, which wasn't. And one, it was a degree or so cooler, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe it still fell in the parameters as the other one.
Yeah. So.
And your test results showed?
Well, we can't attribute. All we could attribute was a causal a relationship between the two. That if you are in the direct moonlight, there appeared to be a cooling effect compared to something that was in the same proximity under the same conditions, other than. And this was the point of the experiment. What we tried to do was isolate all the other parameters. And that's why the one in the glass jar was really quite significant, because it was isolated and almost insulated in a way. But the experiment did try to kind of isolate all the other variables in the experiment, so that the only real difference between the two probes and or the four probes and what they were getting was their exposure to moonlight and how that moonlight was exposed to it. Obviously the one in the shade not having any direct moonlight. Now there might have been surface bounce, as you would expect with sunlight as well, but we didn't, I've not gone into any more detail. But for me it was significant. I was there and I did it over numerous nights, numerous tests, and the tests were complete. There was one, I had the kids' tent set up in the garden one week after the weekend, and it was still set up, and I had it on a kind of like a barbecue trolley, all this equipment, and I've got it out in the garden. I've done all the tests, etc., and they're all separated nicely, and there's lovely variance, and I just kind of wheel it into the tent, and then I go back about 10 minutes later, take it, and they're all kind of converging, all the readings, and then within half an hour they're all exactly at the same temperature, all the probes, and that's literally moving it 6 foot but into a tent. So they've all got the same amount of moonlight exposure, so the ambient conditions were all equal. So yeah, it was significant for me. I think it requires a lot more study and that, but it was hard to, you can't deny, I can't deny the results. They were clear and repeated.
All the same.
Yeah, well, yes, I mean all the same in terms of the one in the moonlight cooled quicker. Yeah, because obviously you're bringing the stuff out of your shed, so there's a slight variance in temperature, but always the one in the moonlight cooled a lot more rapidly and cooled to a lower temperature than the other probe. And that was part of the experiment as well. It wasn't just testing the temperature, it was to test the rate of cooling as well, because I'd take it from me shed. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't, but it was a bit warmer in there than it is out in the garden, so there'd be slight cooling. So looking also at the rate of cooling was significant as well. That like I said, the one exposed to the moonlight cooled the gradient on the graph, because I plotted it all and graphed it all, but the gradient was steeper, so it was cooling at a quicker. And like I said, it always then reached a slightly cooler temperature.
Did you think that the end result would be different?
No, I kind of did, but when you do something and the results are there, it's still wow, because there's nothing better than
Doing it yourself.
Yeah, man, it's you can believe all you want when you've done it, don't you? So there's urge you to do it.
Well, thank you for explaining that. I myself was like 2016, there would seem to be more sunshine. I know we're coming into this year right now, but last year was pretty damn miserable. I just kept like, I couldn't help it. This room I'm sitting in is such a good view for the sun and the moon. And, you know, many a day I've sat here when the dawn's coming up. And yeah, you've got to see this for yourself, what it's doing. You can do some of it yourself. Can't do it all, but you can do some of it yourself and see what we're living in.
I'm just hunting on my Google Drive to see if I can find the. I've had all sorts of computer issues, hacks recently.
Really?
Yeah, I'll be on my third hard drive in a week and a half soon.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what's going off. It's very odd. Very odd is all I can say. So I'm pulling files from a Google Drive, but bear with me. I might have the old data from it. It's not in the presentation or anything, but Curve, compass, moonlight. There we go. Now then, let me see if I can not screen share. But
Oh, you're not going to screen share?
well, I will do, but I won't press the button until I've hidden it, if you know what I mean. So how do I do that?
Share application.
Share application. Good shout. Application window.
Yeah, because we got porn bombed a few months ago. That was fun. Not.
There we go. Application window. Sweet. Okay. I think that's right.
I've got it set on Josh at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's it. Now I've got my presentation screen.
Right, we're there then, yeah?
Yeah. So this should. So that you can see the equipment. He had what's called an anemometer as well, which I was just measuring ambient air temperature and wind speed and that, just for shits and giggles. So what we got here? I've not looked at this in ages, Karen, so bear with me.
That's okay.
Yeah, so these are just like the kind of different test conditions you can see: move to shade, cooling, warming, so on and so forth. There we go, moon at the bottom. Okay, so probably the ones to look at are the purple line and the, where are we, purple and green it will be. So you can see the distance of separation here, and you can see where I swap them over and what happens instantly. See if I can zoom in a little bit, just bear with me. Oops. Bit slow responding, but there we go. I've done a little zoom in there. There we go. So you can see here, look, towards the end, we've got the separation after 90 minutes. This is the one that's in the moonlight, the one that's cooler. And then I basically swap the probes over, and you can see that the divergence swaps over, and the one that was the purple one comes down to be the cooler one because it's now in the moonlight, and the green one that was in the moonlight is now in the moon shade, gets slightly warmer, so it's not being cooled. So that was interesting in itself, that it doesn't stay cold particularly itself. It requires the continued exposure to the moonlight to keep the coldness in it, and things react rapidly back to the ambient temperature when not exposed. So it's not like when you put, it doesn't hold it. Yeah, like I say, something that a bit of conjecture. What we got here? What was this one? God blimey, what's it saying? Very cloudy moon at 81% waxing gibbous. That's nearly a year ago, Josh. 4th of the 7th, that reading.
Adam, can I ask you what's the numbers in the bottom? What are they for? What do they represent?
Which ones?
The numbers across the bottom from left to right.
Oh, the time.
Oh, there's a time.
So these are look. If
2,
you
4,
see up
6,
here,
10,
these are
12.
all the readings. Look, that I've taken at the different times on the different probes. Yeah. So then I've plotted them against time, so that you don't just get a snapshot of it. Oh, it's cooler or warmer. You can see how. Look, you can see. Look, the gradient of this one is a lot steeper, so it cools quicker than this one, and it's because it's in the moonlight. And you can see that they end up separating here, look, and there's a clear divergence between the two of them.
And that's the four that you have there, A, B, C, D. What are they?
Right, so this is the ambient air temperature. So ignore the light blue one underneath, because that's just with the anemometer, which is me holding it up in the air, waving it around, just checking what the cold air temperature is. These ones are in the this one would be in the greenhouse, the little glass dome, and this is in the light obscure plastic box.
Oh, okay. So I'm with you. It's 4 different readings, different ways of reading, but the same evening. I'm with you now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got, these are just more controls, or more, particularly the one in the glass was more a curiosity point. But like I say here, look, you can see the glass one is getting, even though it should be protected from the very cold air temperature, look, you can see that because it's exposed to the moonlight, even though it's behind like I say, behind a glass taxidermy dome, it's still getting very close to the one that's in the moon shade, which is odd, really, considering in a greenhouse you should be a lot warmer than what, 0.2 of a degree than outside, when the air temperature is what, 1.5 degrees cooler. Anyway, so there's another experiment, similar results again. You can see separation and then divergence. Is that it? That's it there, I think. I think there's one on the bottom.
Oh, you're staying on, are you? I thought you were going to take it off. I just took it off you.
No, that's fine. That kind of makes the point. There's a few. That's the tent experiment I was describing. So you can see the divergence occurs. Okay, and you can see the air temperature. And then I put it into the tent. And I only measured the other two. After this, I was just curious to see how quickly they converged to the same point. And so from putting it in, what you're looking at, so it was within the hour or two, an hour or so, they were converged. So just interesting stuff. But like I say, within them all,
thank you for doing that. It looks like you've worked really hard on that.
I did a while ago, yeah. So it's an old one, that, Karen. It seems a lot longer than a year ago. I tell you that.
It's not quite a year, is it? You said July, but yeah, getting on for.
Well, that one was, yeah. If you look, I think there's some.
Oh right, earlier ones.
Yeah, they're done over a good few months. They're a good couple of months of data. So yeah, I think I probably would have started this time last year, because the first moonlight experiments are on the 3rd of the 6th. So I'd have started May last year. So there you go, a little birthday for it. It's a topical outing for the moonlight experiment.
We haven't heard from Patricia very much today. Patricia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
What did you think of those experiments then?
I don't understand them, to be honest. I'm not. I'm just not sort of I don't know. They're fascinating, don't get me wrong, but I just can't visualize them unless I see them for myself. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Adam does tend to get a little heady. A
Yeah.
lot of times I just sit and smile and nod.
Yeah, that's all you can do, isn't it? Really. I'm sorry.
Sometimes. No, I feel you. Don't feel bad.
But
I
tests are always complicated, aren't they? And you can't just do it in 5 minutes. You can't.
That was a bit like Dave Marsh's. You know, I was out late at night taking readings with a little LED torch so as not to add any infrared or any extra heat as I zoomed in on the LCD displays to record it. And you'll see the longer the experiment goes on, the less frequent the recordings get. It did take a while, but yeah, Patricia, don't feel bad. Josh, I know a polite nod when I see it from Josh, you know.
Well, that being said, my girlfriend just got home. My lady got home sick. She's not feeling so well. So I'm going to go up and make her some soup or something to settle her tummy. So I'm going to jump off of here. But I wanted to thank Karen for having me on. It's been a while. It's been several months.
It has been a few months, Josh, but it was very nice speaking to you again.
Well, thanks for having
Sorry
me on.
about your girlfriend.
No, thanks.
Yeah.
Hope you feel better.
Hope she feels better soon.
Well,
Yeah, make some nice soup there, Josh, and hopefully she'll be feeling better.
yeah, I'll do what I can. But thank you guys so much. And hopefully we'll talk again more soon.
Chatting to you.
Thank you.
All right,
Take care.
See you
Love
there.
you.
Bye, darling.
Bye.
Yeah, but it does take a while. I mean, you know, I've been plotting some things out myself, and it takes months.
It's worth it though. It was worth the effort. Like I said, I wasn't to know something is fantastic, you know, and doesn't matter what anyone says to me. I know what I did, and I know what those readings said consistently. So,
Changing the subject completely, as Iron Realm Media, what's been happening with your channel then?
well, we've been out with you see. Friday was a nightmare. Josh, first time in ages. Josh was had a do to go with his girlfriend, and like I said, my computers have been blowing up. We've been planning to stream from my computers, and then they blew up. So Friday night we was just streaming from Josh's computer. But if you look at the show, it's 7 hours long. It was only 3 hours like normal, but
He left it on.
yeah, he didn't get back till late. So that's when the show ended. So
You can probably edit that, you know.
I think it's probably worth doing. It's something they'll probably get around to. Hopefully, if anybody watches it after the 10 minutes of silence, they give up anyway. But they don't sit there for another sort of 3 or 4.
With enhancements, you'll be able to edit the video.
Well, that's kind of what I've been learning to do, trying to do a bit of OBS without the hacks. But I mean, the channel with a bit like you, mate. You know what I mean? Not as frequent as you guys, but trying to interview people and just have chats with people and share information we've learned or stuff we thought of ourselves and stuff. So we've been have a look.
We've had some weird hangouts. We had one hangout where basically there was a panel here, and then they sort of disappeared once they got thrown off. And then basically, even though they were sitting there, no one in the chat room could see, and we had to do a whole hangout through my icon. Even though all the people were there, it wasn't filming them, only me. And then last week we had one where it said live, but I couldn't see there was no viewers. And I'm chatting away to the chat room, and then somebody said, well, when are you going live then? And I thought, well, we've been live for 20 odd minutes. So I stopped it, and it actually recorded it, but not with the chat room. Most bizarre. So we've had a few weird things go on.
we had a few issues with Hangouts. I mean, like we've had tonight, having to hide it or whatever, and that's the main thing we've done is move to Skype and OBS. Really, is
What, you're looking into OBS as well? Yeah, I think Hori Sheet wants me to go to OBS. So it's much better, but I'm thinking, oh, it's something else to learn.
Honestly, I thought it was hard. We've run through OBS anyway for ages, but we've kind of moved away from Hangouts because it's, I don't know, Hangouts, Skype, they've all got merits, haven't they? It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, but kind of moved to Skype more than anything because we're not so, it's not like you guys on Nathan where people join in. We tend to have guests lined up, so we don't need that easier access or having to hand out more private info like your Skype address. So probably a bit happier there using that, but yeah, still learning it. OBS is all right, mate. Honestly, I'm no whiz, but it's a bit like PowerPoint and that. As long as you can do a couple of basic things, you can get to broadcast. So it's
well, okay then. I probably will have to look at it at some point soon. But just asking you, like coming up in the next few weeks or month, can you let us into anybody that you're interviewing?
Who have we got coming up? Who have we got? I sent a shout out to Ranty actually today to come on because he's been doing a lot of fantastic perspective work and refraction photos. And he's kind of like the unsung hero on Nathan Oakley's and Anthony Riley's channel. He does an amazing amount of photography work. So hopefully he'll come on and share some of his work with us. I'm not sure what the guys have got lined up frequently. We just said actually we've got a quiet TFR show on Friday and a quiet, what we call a family show with no guests, just us guys just rambling, because we've obviously had quite a few people on recently, you know, with the convention. Gary, who else have we had on? We've had quite a few folks on. So to be honest, kind of resting, but nothing firm lined up. But I do want to get obviously Rob Durham on and probably Dave Marsh once we've had a chat about this experiment. So yeah, probably a little like there's a long list of folks, but as probably you know, it kind of just happens the week before, really, more than
Shh, you're giving the secrets away.
Yeah, well, people have lives, don't they? You know what I mean? And like you'll say, oh, you do it one week, and I've let you down a couple of times, and I apologise, you know, because stuff.
Yeah, you have. I'm joking.
No, it's a fair point.
It's okay. We're all here. We've done today, and yeah, it's been great catching up with you. So it doesn't matter, does it? We've all get a bit busy and stuff sometimes.
No, it has.
We understand, Adam.
Well, it's been hectic leading up to the conference, because you know what I mean, building the iron stick and just getting ready to go there and set a few things up to stream with the boys and everything was, you know, but certainly worth the effort. And honestly, this is the big thing, Karen. I don't know, maybe I can understand why a trip to Birmingham is maybe not that appealing, but next year the plan is it's going to be in Amsterdam. So I'm hoping there might be an even bigger attendance from the UK than the 200 or so that showed up, because I think that could be a good week-long giggle.
What, you want to go to Amsterdam?
It's been a few years since I've been, but that's where the conference is hopefully going to be for 2018. So
right,
would seem quite an appealing.
Might be a bit of a distraction having it in Amsterdam, if you know what I mean. It's probably not a good place to have it. I would say that it's not a good place to have it. I mean, all right, I love Amsterdam, yeah, for sure, but it's a bad distraction, you know.
I'll tell you what, pal. The car park at the Jury's Inn was like a little mini Amsterdam in itself. So there was. I don't think that's necessarily going to be a problem. It didn't seem to put out. There was plenty of people taking slightly prolonged breaks, and that was the only thing I think Gary had issues with. He'd say, right, 15 minutes break, everybody get a drink, and half the people would disappear downstairs.
In the car park, when you come back.
And it'd be half an hour later when proceedings would then restart. So yeah, I get your point, Astral, mate. It it might be an hour and a half in Amsterdam. Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, it is kind of for people in Europe anyway. It's kind of central, you know. I mean, without distracting from the people in the UK, Amsterdam is kind of in a sense, a central place. If not there, then Berlin. You know, that would be even better. But I mean, yeah, it's kind of central for most Europeans, I would imagine, and it's a good place to go to. Lots to see, lots to do. You know, it's a city that's, you know, more or less not sleeping in that sense. All right, it does, but I mean, there's plenty to see anyway, so it could be a nice little venue. Yeah, for sure.
I think they will
I'll
get.
go.
Yeah. Oh well, there you go, mate. We'll see you there. I'll see. But I do think they'll get bigger attendance because even though it was in the UK, who was there, man? There was plenty of guys from the Republic of Ireland. There was Portugal. A couple of guys I met from Portugal. There's a guy from Iceland, a guy from Norway. Dee Dee's obviously from Belgium. I think there was Dutch people there. I don't know, but there was a fair mix of Europeans as well. And I can imagine that if it was, like you say, you've not got the water to cross and somewhere central like Amsterdam, Astral, you know what I mean, that there would be quite a large pull, I think. And I think that's why Gary's planning it in like one of these camping parks with chalets, and so it's more of a week-long convention and people can go, and
no one will want to leave, will they?
I don't think so. It could be flat world.
Well, we only turned up for a week. 6 months later, we're still here.
Yeah,
that's actually, you hit it on the head there. Flat World, you know, Flat World 2019, and like an open air festival kind of thing. That could be awesome, man. Get some musicians playing flat earth music, you know. We could have people like Horry juggling, some beat poets maybe, you know, people talking about science and, you know, the factual things that are really real, you know, not this bollocks that we're led to believe. And it something like that could actually take part, and it could be very, very good, you know, like a big festival in a sense, you know. Why not? I mean, why not?
we did have the names forget me. On the Friday night there was a couple from Glastonbury, and started off with her reading some wicked. Honestly, it was one I commented on one of the IRM videos that we did, and it was one of the things that really struck me on the Friday night, that you got poets writing about flat earth and really good poetry as well, and then they also did a few quite satirical and light-hearted songs as well about flat earth and NASA, etc., and so on. So yeah, I can imagine that bit going. There being a lot more of that, mate, in a year's time. But I'll get the names, Karen, because they deserve a shout out. But I'll see you in Astral.
I don't know how much longer do you want to go on for, Adam? Because it's coming up for 11:45 now.
But I'm about ready for bed. I've still got work in the morning, so I have enjoyed it, and hopefully not so long next time before we catch up again, mate.
Yeah, it's always a joy. We always have a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's been.
And thank you for telling us about the convention, and thanks for telling us about your experiment and Iron Realm Media.
Yeah, give us a shout. You can catch us on Friday nights, 10 o'clock, and that's the other thing that probably deserves a plug is Josh and Walt, who are doing a great show. Been going, don't ask me for times, you can tell I know nothing. It's about 6 months or so or more now on TFR, and they're on Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 in the morning till midday. A good show there. It's kind of news and updates and just news from around the plane, really. A little bit of NASA Mickey taking, so quite light-hearted. It's not 10 o'clock for them. I think they start at I think it's 4 o'clock in the morning their time. So
Wow.
It takes until about 4:30, quarter to 5 to liven up after a couple of coffees, really. So, but
No, good for them with the commitment then, because that's a horrible time, isn't it?
it's rank, isn't it? It's that.
But mind you, usually we sit on the longer hangouts. Usually for Americans, it's us who's up till dawn.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'm sorry. It's good to hear the other way around.
maybe might be worth you maybe popping over there one day and telling them what Sun and Moon Group's all about and what you've achieved, because it'd be nice to give a bigger shout out to them, because it's mostly, I mean, there's a good worldwide audience, but what you've done deserves a good shout out, mate. It might be worth considering popping over there one night.
Oh yeah, it won't be 4 o'clock for us, will it?
No, 10 in the morning for you. It's okay. Get toast and coffee in well before you start.
Well, before you actually leave, do you want to put your channel in the chat room?
See, this is why you need Josh for these sorts of things. I'm rubbish at this. Well, I'll give it a shout out. Look, we're at Iron Realm Media on YouTube. If you want to email us about anything, give us any experiments, anything you want to discuss, get put on the show. We're always on the lookout, give people an hearing with any kind of experiments. You can contact us at ironrealmmedia@gmail.com. I'm available at Larcheo Red, LARCHEORED on Twitter. Give us a shout, and like I said, you can always catch me, Josh, Walt Flat Earth Head, and John Savage. Sometimes Rob, sometimes James as well. From obviously Rob's in Australia and James in Canada. Always catches on Friday nights, 10 o'clock UK time on YouTube as well. But thank you.
Well, I'll put your link in the description. It's a pleasure. Thanks very much for coming on, and thanks for explaining all that you did.
Pleasure, mate. God bless. Good night, and take care, mate. And I'll catch up again soon.
I think Astral's going to say,
brother.
Thank you.
Just want to say, take it easy. Thank you for coming on. It's always nice to hear from you.
I was going to say, guys, just going to say,
it's interesting.
Astral,
Yes.
a pleasure, mate. Costa, pleasure. Patricia, good to speak again, and like I say, hopefully speak all again soon. And
big flat Earth hugs.
big flat hugs. Love to you all, guys. Take it easy, yeah.
Yeah,
Love
thanks,
you.
God bless.
Cheers,
Bye,
man.
darling.
Cheers.
Bye, darling.
Bye. Bye.
Hey, well, we're down to 4. Costa, we're going to finish in a minute. But I wondered if you would say you sent me a picture. So where were you? Was it Sunday?
I went to London for Sunday and Monday. It was Sunday night. Yeah, we went to see a concert. And I went to that Emirates, like air, what is it called? Like teleferic.
What's that?
At the O2 arena, there's like a cable and a kind of cabin, and it carries you above the river. Yeah.
You went in a helicopter?
Experience. No helicopter. It's
Oh, you
on
mean
a cable.
on the wheel thing?
The wheel thing. Yeah, yeah, that one.
Pod. The pod thing.
Yeah.
I know they make it look like you're going on a flight, don't they?
It's like a fly. Yeah.
We're going on a flight now, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went in it a few, well, I don't know how many years ago now, but the weather wasn't that good, so you could see, but you couldn't see. It wasn't as good as if it wasn't a clear day.
Hmm. Yeah, okay. Some little buildings, construction stuff. Okay. Just to pass the day, it was okay.
It wasn't
Bit
paved in
into
gold, though,
nature
was it,
now.
Kosta?
So, sorry?
I said it wasn't paved in gold, was it?
No. Now the fields now they have the rapeseed. It's all yellow, so beautiful. It's coming out, from this hot weather these days, and now the nature is much better.
You haven't been to Silbury Hill again?
No, I haven't been. No. I'll go to Glastonbury maybe next week. Yeah.
They sort of say that maybe Glastonbury Hill is one. Some people have said.
The tour.
Yeah, I've climbed up that. I nearly had a heart attack.
Yeah. Because it was
the tour at Glastonbury is sort of the story I got told was that originally there was water, because they've obviously banked it all off down at Poole and other places, so the water doesn't come in anymore. But we used to be covered in water more, and then basically built a church on an island, and that's what you're walking up. But they had to sail there. I mean, it's pretty high than the waterline, wasn't it?
Yes, it was islands. It was like little islands around there. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty tall, isn't it? There's loads of water then that disappeared.
Mm.
You can't believe that though anymore, can you? But I've heard them say that they wonder whether it's a pyramid as well.
No, I don't. I can't tell. I think it's not. I can't say. But the man who's talking tomorrow, he's very into this.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's very good. Oh man, I saw a few videos. Oh, he's gonna tell us a lot. Very interesting stuff.
I don't think tomorrow will be the longest hangout. You know, a lot of people. You say an hour, that feels quite a long time to them. But hopefully he'll stay a bit longer. He's not coming on to do a Russian vids. He's not going to stay hours. But it's just brilliant that he's coming on. I made a little video about that, everybody. He's coming on tomorrow.
Yeah, but the thing is, about Glastonbury, the tour there, that hill around that is the sign of Aquarius. Okay, and inside the tour there's a water spring basically, and this zodiac that appears from above. The sign of Aquarius right on the tour, so it's important. This connection with water, but also the King Arthur story. Now I realize what that means. I thought King Arthur was a real person, He's 12 knights. He has knights in the round table and all that, but basically he's a sun god. And this is what I'm reading in the book now. So it's all related with the zodiac. Everything connects. Hercules and all those heroes, Jesus, even Muhammad with the 12 imams and the 12 tribes of Israel. All the 12 everywhere. So Glastonbury must have a big energetic point there. It's very important. That was what I was telling you earlier about the place here, because you see, I don't know, the people here in England, in America, and other parts of the world, they see things more like first. Why they know all this stuff first and they bring it out? I think it's some kind of Atlantean spirit coming back and waking people up. I think it's a big awakening going on. Seriously, yeah. And
Yay! Good.
yes, very positive. Yeah, definitely. We're winning.
Wake up.
Now,
Wake
okay.
up. Wake up.
Now it's some up in the spiritual level. There we are winning. We're winning the battle, but down here we're still losing. But it's gonna turn. It's gonna turn around. We are there. Yeah, definitely. It's so much synchronicity going on, and it's in our favor, definitely. Because if you don't do anything wrong, yeah, you are in your life, you are loving, and you're doing correct things. I think you are winning, yeah. But we have to stop hatred and all that, the negative stuff, and it's gonna be much different. The future, I think, will shine.
I agree.
The truth will shine. I can't say that. Yeah, I feel it.
Getting the vibe, getting the frequency of flat Earth. It's different than this ego stuff. But
Being global type thing, yeah. The globebusters.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for that,
Thank
Kosta.
you, Karen.
I think we're going to finish now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Astral. Thank you, Patricia. Big kisses
Thank
to
you,
you, Kosta.
Astral.
And thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.
Patricia.
Thank you, Kosta. Love you.
Thank you, Patricia. Nice one. Nice questions yesterday. I was laughing all night.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, Kosta. That was awesome. Yeah, it was good yesterday.
Yeah. You too, Astral. It was very good. Yeah. Okay, bye, guys. See you another time.
Bye.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you to everybody in the chat room for listening in, and thank you to Iron Realm Media, and who else has been here who's not here? So Iron Realm Media, and well, Paul popped on, but he had a phone problem. So, but anyway, we are back tomorrow. So see you tomorrow, everybody. Mwah! Flat Earth hugs and kisses.
Love you all.